Yes, sir, the witness in.
Ungaba nenkinga ukuthi ukhulume okanye uthathe isifonyo sokukhuluma iqiniso?
Cha ngeke nenkinga.
No objection in taking a prescribed oath, my lord. Uyafunga ukuthi ufakazi ozokuletha manje kuyoba iqiniso liphelele ngaphandle kokunye uma ngabe kunjalo. Phakamise sokudla isandla. Inkosi ngisize ngikhuluma iqiniso.
Inkosi ngisize ngikhuluma iqiniso.
Oath taken, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Ramusepi, any questions for this witness?
As the court pleases, my lord, I'm indebted. Morning, sir.
Uyabingelela.
Yebo sabona.
Sorry, I missed your rank because I call police officers in court by ranks when I address them.
Captain Mchali.
Captain Mchali, I'm indebted. Now, yesterday you gave us a very informative analysis of SAP 13, how it works, and what is the need and the necessity of maintaining chain of custody, especially with regard to items like firearms and firearm-related evidence like projectiles, whether fragmented or whole?
Isidingo sokuthi ke kube ne chain of custody kakhulukazi sesibheka ingxenye zokufakaza efana nazo ke lezi ama ibhamu ke nenhlamvu kanjalo ama projectiles ungathi ukusicacisela khona lapho.
Yebo my lord njengoba bengishilo izolo.
As I have indicated yesterday,
ukuthi uma usebenza kwi SAP 13 store as a commander.
if you're working in the SAP store as a commander,
Egama lesingisi you are being entrusted. Okusho ukuthi unikezwe wonke amandla ukuthi yonke exhibit ekhona lapha singazakhuluma nje ngefirearm exhibit nje engena SAP store kumele ivikeleke.
in other words, you are then entrusted so that every piece of evidence that is in the store should be protected.
Ngoba kufika zona insuku efana nalezi ukuthi manje funeke ibe i-evidence so akumele iphazamiseke.
Because days such as these ones will come where in such an evidence will be needed in court, and such an evidence should not be tampered with.
Yikho-ke okusemqoka kumele engikwenzayo lapha esitolo.
That is of utmost importance in as far as my duties are concerned in the store.
Now, the police personnel that you deal with that come to the SAP store to collect firearms to be taken to the FSL, do you normally have interaction with the ballistics? Do they directly come and pick the firearms themselves from the SAPS, or are the firearms sent to ballistic?
Ngabe uyakwazi ukuxhumana nje ngokuqondile nje nalabo base ballistic ngoba amaphoyisa yeza azothatha ke ingxenye zobufakazi kanjalo ake sikhulume mhlambe ngeibhamu kumele ibhamu ihambe ziye ku ballistic uyakwazi ke ukuthi mhlambe ungaqondana nabo ke abasebenza ku ballistic?
Cha ngixhuma ngichasi nabo.
No, I do not have a direct interaction with them.
And you testified yesterday, and I wasn't clear on this aspect. You said this particular firearm, if I understood you correctly, was first booked at the CSC SAP 13 register, correct?
Usho kanjalo lesi sibhamu ke okokuqala sabhukwa khona lapha ku CSC SAP 13
Yebo kunjalo.
register. It is indeed so, yes.
And if I understood you correctly, because I'm lost there, so if I put the wrong thing, correct me. Then it was never at that time, the 10th of February 2015, it was not transferred to the SAP 13, that is your store now, and the transfer register, which is the firearms transfer register, correct?
Yebo kunjalo.
It is indeed so, yes.
So a police officer came to CSC, booked the firearm directly from CSC to FSL, ballistics unit.
Lafika ke ku CSC, lafika ke labhuka la khipha isibhamu khona lapho ku CSC ukuyisisa FSL. Ngabe kunjalo?
Yebo kunjalo.
Yes, it is so, yes.
Now let's come to the tail end of this firearm as it moves up and down the ballistics and back to SAP 13. Your testimony yesterday is that this firearm, first on the 27th of July 2020, together with items 3.1 to 3.3 inclusive, they were booked back by Brigadier, or I'm not sure his title exactly, but Mangena, Lieutenant Colonel, I think, Mangena, on the 27th of July.
Zabuyiswa ke
2020.
lezobufakazi 3.1 kuya ku 3.3 nge 27th ka July 2020. Is it the 27th of July?
Yeah, it says 27 July 2020, items 3.1 to 3.3 booked back by Lieutenant Colonel Christian Mangena.
Yebo kunjalo.
It is and it's so yes. Jeba kuyiqiniso lokho u Sergeant Mangena uyena ke wabuyisa leso zinto okanye lengxenye zobufakazi nge 27th of July 2020.
Were you present on this day? Were you working when this was done? Because I know now you don't exclusively sit at the SAP store because you've got a higher rank.
Ubukhona ke wena ngaleso sikhathi ngoba ngiyakwazi ukuthi awuvele uhlale nje khona lapha usune isihlalo singathe siphezulu khona lapha ne SAP 13. Ubukhona wena uqobo lwakho.
Yebo ngithi ukubuyisela emuva kancane sathathwa kumina nge20 ngangikhona.
Now let me take you back. It was taken from me on the 20th and I was there.
Sihamba se ballistic
And it was taken to ballistics.
by Colonel Mangena.
And that was taken by Colonel Mangena.
Then 7 days later on the 27,
And then 7 days later, on the 27th,
Lieutenant Colonel wabuyisa futhi lama item back station.
The Lieutenant
Wabuyisa kumina.
Lieutenant Colonel brought back the same items to me at the station.
Yes,
And-
I'm with you, Captain. Let's take it slowly. Now, you see the question that I asked you at the beginning, that do you personally have interactions with ballistic personnel as to regards the collection and the returning of firearm evidence? You said no, but in this instance, on the 20th of July 2020, Colonel Mangena came and booked the firearm out and its related evidence, the projectiles and whatever that was in 3.1 to 3.3. Is that procedural?
Uyakhumbula ngeke ngakubuza phambilini ukuthi uyaxhumana yini nje kukhoma nabo laba ke abase ballistic ukuthi bafike lapha yana uxhumane nje na uqobo lwakho uxhumane nje nabo wathi cha manje ngabe lokho ke kuse kuyinqubo ensebenza ngayo njengoba lona uMangena efikile kuwena wafika wazobhuka lezi zinto ke futhi yena uMangena waphinde futhi waziletha la kuwena.
Ake ngichazeke la ngosenkantolo.
Let me just explain it here.
Yebo.
Let me just explain it here.
Mina ngaze manje ukuthi uMangena is a ballistic personnel.
I only came to know about it now that Mangena was a ballistic official or personnel.
Umeza kumina ezobhuka isibhamu procedure yami it's an IO ufuna le item ihambi eballistic.
When he comes to me to come and book out the exhibit or the item, according to my knowledge, it is the IO that comes to me and he books an item out so that it can be taken to ballistics.
Angibuza abantu mabefikile ukuthi usebenza kuyipi uTT or mountain yamahasho reni ufuna iexhibit yakho mina ngonikeza iexhibit yakho lo uyifunayo uyisayinele uhambe.
I do not inquire about the profile of that particular person. You want your exhibit, you book the exhibit out, and I'm giving you the exhibit. So that then you sign for that exhibit, and then you leave.
I-procedure injalo ke mhlekazi.
That is how the procedure is.
Yes, but my question was that, is that procedural for a ballistic expert to come and collect exhibits directly from the SAP store clerk himself?
Engikubuza khona ukuthi ngabe kuyi procedure leyo ke ukuthi i-ballistic personnel isuke la isuka khona izeke izothatha ingxenye yobufakazi khona laphana kuwena. Angisho wena usebenza ngama IO ngabe kusemgomeni ke wokusebenza kwakho uthi lona afike wase ballistic ukuthi azobhuka i-exhibit azoyibhuka out i-exhibit.
Ngoze nkatolo ngengiqamba manga ke kulombuzo awubuzayo nomhlekazi. Angeke ngisho ukuthi kuyi procedural or is not.
Well, I would not really have to lie on that question that you've asked me. I would not even say that it is procedural or it is not procedural.
Kodwa ngingakuchazela kona ukuthi ke nabantu bama photographer abafikile esinini kunama exhibit abawa collect esinini ahambe straight aye ballistic engadlulanga ku SAP store
Even
nayisuka
regarding-
kwi crime scene.
Even regarding the photographers, they would take the exhibits from the scene, and instead of the exhibit, taken into the office, they don't come to the office. They are taken straight to the ballistics.
Thank you, Captain. Now, on the very same day that Colonel Christian Mangena returns the very same firearm evidence 3.1 to 3.3, the IO in this case, Colonel Gininda, or now is a Brigadier Gininda, comes and collects the same items and books them out, and your entry is that they are booked out for head office. Is that correct?
Wena ke washo kanjalo ukuthi uma ke sekufika uGininda emva kokuthi lona umangena elethe lezo zinto ke item 3.1 kuya ku 3.3 sekufika ke uGininda ufika uyayibhuka ke uyayikhipha ientry yakho ithi zabhukhelwa ziswa head office kunjalo.
Yebo bafika behamba bobabili hayi ukuthi bashiyana.
Yes, but they came in each other's company. It's not like the one came first and the other one came later on. They came in each other's company.
Sorry, let me understand. Are you talking about Mangena?
Usikhuluma ngomangena.
Yebo there was
No,
bekunombuzo futhi kaGinendi
Okay.
khona la.
Shuthi ukhuluma ngomangena noGininda.
Yebo ukuthi
Bafika
umangena
isikhathi
wafika ebuyisa isibhamu
Ehhe.
ehamba naye ubrigadier now uGinendi.
Yes, that I'm referring to the both of them. That Mangena came in the company of Brigadier Gininda.
And then ubrigadier Gininda sathi nje mase si receiver asingenanga ngisho store ubrigadier Gininda umangena mesibuyisa asingenanga ngisho kwi safe.
Now, when Mangena brought it in, it didn't even go into the safe, or it didn't. But the item was not even stored. That he brought it back,
And then now the procedure ukuthi ke manje siphume futhi sihambe.
and the next procedure or the next step was that it now has to be booked out so that it can be taken away.
Yiko ke ugine signature ka lapha ientry lelandelayo ethi item 3.1 to 3.23 Kolo by that time Colonel Gininda head office booked out for wangitshela mina uthi usibukela out manje for a case yase Phosphorus 636 which is 10/2014 sahamba ke for safekeeping.
Now, when this item was brought back, that is why the entry reads that items 3.1 to 3.3, that then Colonel Gininda booked those items out to the head office. And the reason that he furnished was that this was booked out for case 636 of Phosphorus
For safekeeping.
for safekeeping.
You've just anticipated my question, the next question correctly, which was the reason for the booking. But even if it's booked for 636, you are still the custodian of that firearm because it's still a Cleveland SAP 13 number that regulates the movement of this firearm to and fro, ballistics, head office, or whatever investigation takes place, but it still needs to come back to you eventually, correct?
Ekugcineni wena unamandla wokulawula leso sibhamu ukuthi ngoba phela ke sibhukwe silethwa eCleveland kanti ke ukuthi siyaphuma siyangena siyakuphi wena ke unamandla wokuthi ungalawula leso sibhamu ka leyo ngxenye ke yobufakazi.
Ake ngichazelana ke Nkosi enkantolo.
Let me try and explain this now.
Mangikhumbula kahle ukuthi isibhamu lesi sibuya kwi case yase Cleveland ye possession.
Now, if I recall well, this firearm comes from the case, the Cleveland case, of the possession of the firearm.
And iphelile leyo case yavalwa kwaze kwaphuma instruction ukuthi destroy.
Now, that case was finalized and the docket was closed. Then an instruction was issued that firearm must be destroyed.
So, lana njengamanje lesibhamu sesiphuma with a new case.
Now, at this point in time, this firearm is now booked out with a new case,
Engahlangene neyase Cleveland.
which has got nothing to do
Ngoba
with
yase
the
Cleveland,
Cleveland
yase
case,
Cleveland iphelile.
because the Cleveland case has been finalized.
Wasithatha ke uKennel Gininda by then ngoba ethi uyosigcina sibe safe le ngoba usesilinke after investigation emva kokuphenyo usesitholile ukuthi siqhumana nale case yase Phosphorus so uyasusa kuthini.
Then, after he had done his investigations and discovered that this firearm is linked to the Phosphorus case, he then came and booked out that firearm for safekeeping.
Because singakhohlwa ukuthi bese sine instruction ukuthi mina ngisigandayi.
We should not forget that there already was the instruction that this firearm needs to be destroyed.
Khona kungenzeke amaphutha ngoba after lesibhamu sihambile lesibhamu sasiyingxenye yebhamu ezu500 kwesami storeroom.
Now, this was a firearm which was in the list of the 500 firearms that were in my storeroom.
Of which njengamanje sengidestroy close to 300 kusele 140 or 50.
Now, at this stage, I had already destroyed 300 of those firearms, and the outstanding amount of those firearms that still needs to be destroyed is about 140, around 140.
Yes, 148 or 50.
148 to 150.
So singabantu amaphutha siyawenza naso lezi mhlawumbe sasogcina singenile ngikhumbule late ukuthi hey lesibhamu leso kwathiwa ngingasidestroy.
Now, we are people, and at times we commit errors. Perhaps this firearm as well might have ended up in the firearms that were supposed to have been destroyed, and yet there was an instruction that it shouldn't be
So
destroyed.
as a senior yami ke uBrigadier Ginindi angibonanga kunephutha ukuthi asibhuke yena sise esilethe la head office for safekeeping.
But since he is my senior, I did not see any fault in him booking it out so that he can take it out to go and put it in a safe at the head office.
Okay, I understand that. Now, my next question will be, because now, correctly so, you say it's out of the Cleveland case that has been finalized, there's a disposal order for destruction, forfeited to the state, destroy, right?
Usho njalo ngisho ke ngoba iqhamuka khona laphana eCleveland kanti ke kwase kuphuma instruction ukuthi lesi sibhamu masindlulisele kumbuso futhi ke siyogxotshwa.
Yebo kunjalo.
That is correct, yes.
Just a clarification for me. How then do you finally clear this firearm from your SAP register so that I can't come back to you and say, Captain Charlie, where's this firearm? Although I know Colonel Gininda has booked it out under a different case, but in your system, in your registers, how do you finally clear it so that nobody comes back to you to account for that?
Nikwenza kanjani lokho ke ukuthi nikhiphe lesi sibhamu kuma SAP 13 register wenu ukuthi umuntu angaphindi eza mhlambe kusasa ethi lesi sibhamu sikuphi njengoba sekwaziwa ke kinina ukuthi lesi sibhamu kukhishwe leyo instruction ukuthi masiyo destroy.
Njengoba ke ngishilo ukuthi i-original yalesibhamu singene ngecase yase Cleveland.
As I've already indicated, that the original of this firearm has to do with the Cleveland case.
So manje sesilinkwa kwenye case yase Phosphorus.
Now, this firearm is now linked with the Phosphorus case.
So njengoba esithathile is just ubaba uGininda is a safeguarding it uBrigadier.
Now,
Now safeguard.
Since he has taken it or booked it out, he has safeguarded or he is safeguarding that firearm.
Ngalelo langa iyophela khona le case lesi yase Phosphorus le 636. uBrigadier Gininda uyofuna futhi ukuze azosibuyise ebese faka instruction ukuthi cha manje ke lesibhamu lesi sesinga destroy.
Now, upon the finalization of that Phosphorus case, the 636 case, again, Brigadier Gininda will be bringing back this firearm with the instruction that let this firearm be disposed of and be destroyed.
ngoba manje kuyobe kusho ukuthi lesibhamu sesiqedile kule case ekhona asisekho isidingo saso.
Because that would then mean that whatever purpose it was serving in this particular or current case, it has served it and there isn't any other reason to keep it.
Ukusho nje futhi ngiphinde ngigcizelela ukuthi makwenziwa i-audit lapha emsebenzini kwenziwa inspection.
Now, I should say that whenever there are audits that are done or even inspections that are conducted,
Lesibhamu leso sisa-counter lapha kwi-storeroom sami.
they are being, that firearm is also being counted or linked with the storeroom.
It's just nje siphumile for okwesikhashana.
It is just that in the interim, it has been booked out.
Yeah, that was my point, so it's understood. Now, let's move on to the other subject. Now, these firearms that are meant for destruction, especially the forfeited to the state, destroy. There's a procedure now that must be followed before the firearm is eventually destroyed, correct?
Kunjalo ukuthi khona inqubo ethize okanye iprocedure ethize emayelana ke lezi ibhamu esekhushwe iinstruction ukuthi mazindluliselwe kumbuso futhi ke ziyogxotshwa. Kukhona iprocedure emayelana nazo.
Yebo ikhona.
Yes, there is a procedure relating to such firearms.
And the unit responsible for that, I'm not sure whether I'll be putting words in your own mouth because you know this better than me. That unit is called Flesh and is based here in Pretoria. Do you know about anything called Flesh?
Okuyiyona ebhekene naleyo nkambo ibizwa iFlash.
Yes.
Ngabe uyakwazi lo?
It's a national head
Like
office.
Pretoria. That is correct. Yes, it is in the national head office.
And just for everybody that doesn't know what Flesh stands for, you'll correct me. It stands for the firearms, liquor and second-hand goods. That's an acronym for that, correct?
All right.
Ngabe kunjalo?
All right, Mpala.
Yes, it is correct like that.
And those firearms that must be destroyed, they must also be destroyed in terms of the law, the Firearms Control Act 60 of 2000, correct?
Manje lezo ibhamu ke eziyolahlwa kwamele ukuthi ziyo destroyer ukuya ke ngemibandela yalowo mthetho 60 wo 2000 Firearms Control Act 60 year 2000.
Yebo impela yiyo le act kuhambisane futhi ne-National Instruction 8 of 2017.
Yes,
For
it is. It is that legislation as well as the National Instruction
8 of 2017.
of 2017. That has to do with the SAPS.
Now, before a firearm now the firearm is declared forfeited, destroy. Forfeited to the state, destroy. That's the instruction, that's the disposal order on the docket.
I-order ekhishwa laphana ebhalwe laphana kwi-docket ithi dispose and destroy. Angisho kunjalo?
Yebo injalo.
Yes, yes, it is so.
Now, they must go through a process whereby they must be first cleared to see whether there are no other crimes that they are linked to before they are destroyed, correct?
Kukhona ke naleyo ngqubo ke ukuthi angokuba zizolahlwa ke lezi zinto kucheckwe ke ukuthi akukho la ezixhunyaniswa nezinye igameko zobugebengu.
Yebo ngivumelana nawe kunjalo.
I agree with you. Yes, it is indeed so.
And they must go for what is termed an IBIS, an Integrated Ballistic Investigation Systems Comparison, and they are given a specific serial number once they are cleared, correct?
Kunjalo ke ihamba naleyo ke acronym ase ayishilo IBSI yona leyo acronym ayishilo.
Yebo kuhambisana kodwa ke kunomehluko nje kancane. I-FSL okwenza i-analysis more deeper than i-IBC lo khuluma ngayo.
Now, yes, it is. However, there's a little bit of a difference where the FSL is concerned. The analyses are much deeper than the acronym that you have just
Yes, I know that there's a difference between a 212 statement by ballistics and the IBIS comparison. Now, in terms of, I'm not sure, you are not a lawyer, but in terms of Section 149 of the Firearms Control Act, it says those firearms that are declared forfeited to the state and they must be destroyed, such a process must occur from the date of disposal. The destruction must happen within 6 months. Are you aware of that?
Uyakwazi lokho ke? ukuthi i-destruction kumele yenzeke within the space of 6 months.
6 months.
Emva kokuthi i-instruction ukuthi ku-destroy ikhishwe kumele kwenzeke kuleso space se-6 months.
I'm not aware.
Okay.
Uthi ke angiqapheli ke lokho okanye lo mgomo ke angiqapheli.
It does say so, and furthermore, it says the period of disposal of 6 months is suspended by the appeal proceedings in between. So if there are appeals, then the 6 months period will be suspended up until appeal proceedings, but it's neither here nor there, so we'll leave it at that.
Ukuthi ke ngamanye amazwi leyo 6 months into engenza ke ukuthi ingaloku ichubeka i-counter leyo 6 months ukuthi kukhona ke inqubo yoku appeal iyona ke engenza ukuthi kungabhekwi inqobo phezulu kwaleyo okanye kungasetshenzelwa phezulu kwaleyo 6 months uya kodwa ukuthi hayi ayikho la noma lapha yana ke asiyekele.
Ngizwile kodwa.
I heard you, thank you.
Now, this particular firearm that we are talking about here, if I understood your testimony correctly, and you must correct me if I'm wrong, it was taken for etching whereby an attempt was made to recover the serial number, but that failed. Did I understand you to be saying that yesterday?
Ukuthi kwazana ukuthi kutholakala serial number kodwa ayangatholakali.
Ngale case yase Cleveland.
Pertaining this Cleveland case, yes.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. My Lord, I think that will be all from my side regarding this witness. As the court pleases.
Yes, Mr. Mnisi.
It's your last chance to win with Checkers Hyper and SA's biggest solar power giveaway. Stand to win one of 120 home solar systems worth 100,000 Rand each. Simply buy any participating product and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Buy big, save big with Bacoma Wheat Picks, 3 for only 129 Rand. Huggies Mega Box Pans for 299.99. And an HDH Pace Chlorine Pool Floater, 2 for 200 Rand. Only at Checkers Hyper.
Indicated that you would not accept an exhibit that is put in an exhibit bag, the seal of which is tampered with or which is not properly closed.
Izolo usho kanjalo ukuthi wena ngeke uamukele ingxenye yobufakazi kungukuthi ke i-evidence bag yakhona i-seal yakhona ayivalekanga kahle okanye ibonakala ngazuthi khona umuntu obeloko temperana nayo ukuthi awubuthathi lobo bufakazi.
Impela kunjalo mangizilanda nje charge office kukhona lobo buxikizanyana cha angithathi.
Yes, it is indeed so. If I go and fetch them from the charge office and I find that there is that tampering that had taken place there, I am not going to take that back.
Why wouldn't you do that? What are your fears of?
Yingani ungekukwenze lokho usaba ini?
Ngesipiliyoni sami ke siko lokuthi ngizogcina ngizoza la ngizochaza ukuthi hayi le bag evuliwe.
Now, based on my experience, I could foresee that I would end up coming into the court to come and explain as to why is this evidence bag not sealed or why is it open.
Ngoba lokho kuzosho ukuthi sekukhona uxhakaxhaka nami sengibenzile khona lapha kule.
That would mean that there had been some tampering from my side as well that could have contributed to that particular exhibit.
So kumele ilungiswe ngoba noma ukhumbula masingakhumbuzana nje ukuthi ifike la eCSC izofika isilwe eCLC.
We should remember that when it gets to the CSC, it gets to be sealed, or it has to be sealed when it gets to CSC.
Isazohamba ye ballistic ngeke baze bayithathe ballistic mabangathola nabo ukuthi bag is not sealed correctly.
Now that particular bag or evidence bag still needs to go to the ballistics section or office And they also are not going to receive it if they realize that that seal bag has been tampered with.
Yeah, abayithathi jonke
They,
into leyo nje.
let me just put it straight. They are not taking it.
So nami ke nje ngingayidingi isondele eduze kwami ingakalungiswa.
Myself as well, I wouldn't want to carry the burden of such an evidence bag that has been tampered with. It must be fixed before it gets to me as well.
Thank you, sir. Now, just to sum up what you have said with regard to the importance of a seal, am I then, would be correct if I were to say the purpose of a seal is to ensure that evidence has not been contaminated or altered in transport and or in storage?
Esona sizathu ke injongo yesil ukwenza isiqiniseko ke sokuthi le ngxenye yobufakazi uma ihanjiswa noma istorwa akukho ke ukuthi kutemporary ngayo.
Yebo kunjani phela.
That is correct. It is indeed so.
Thank you, Mr. Mchali. Am I correct, sir, that prior to your elevation to being a commander in the SAP 13 and the level at which you are now, like all other members of the South African Police Services, you started down there taking statements from witnesses, and you also would sometimes give your own affidavits to explain out of your own understanding what had you seen, etc.
Ngabe nawe waqala lapho njengamanye amalunga ke njengoba wena usukhushiliwe ungucommander nje okanye ukule position okuyo namhlanje waqala khona laphana uthatha mhlamba ama statement aqhamuka ke kuzakhamuzo kanye abantu abazile laphana e-police station kanti ke egcineni nawe uyithole ubhala ne-affidavit okuyiyona yakho ngabe nawe uqale lapho.
Akusenzeka namanje angikakuyeki.
It is still continuing. I haven't stopped doing that, even right now.
If kumele ngibhale statement ngivula docket eCSC ngiyalivula.
If I have to open a docket and provide a statement, I do that. I'll do that.
Thank you. Now, very briefly,
Kafuke nje.
would you explain how would you go about penning your own statements?
Ngokufingqiwe nje ungasho ukuthi mhlambe usitshela ukuthi wena inyathelo oyithathayo ukuze uwenze esakho statement uwenza kanjani ke yani inqubo yakho emayelana ke nokuthatha kwakho okanye kwenza kwakho statement uwenze njani?
Hayi mhlekazi akakachaze kahle mhlawumbe anginike scenario nyana ye case.
Can you please at least explain further or elaborate on that by perhaps even giving me a scenario of the case?
Thank you. As a head of the CSC, somebody brings in an exhibit
Njengesikhulu sase-CSC khona umunye ke uletha i-exhibit la kuwena okanye ingxenye yobufakazi
which is in an evidence bag that is not properly sealed.
kanti ke leyo ngxenye yobufakazi exhibit ingaphakathi kwe-evidence bag engasilwanga kahle
Or the seal thereof has been tampered with.
kanti isili yakhona mhlambe ke yabanjwa wabona nawe ukuthi ike yabanjwa ke isili yakhona.
Now, your seniors, remember in your testimony you said you would even go to an extent of reporting this incident to the other line seniors.
Uyakhumbula ukhulumile lokho ukuthi uzokwazi ukuthi uye nakwabanye ezinye izikhulu ke khona lapho uyo reporter ke into efana nalena.
Okay.
Ake silithathe ke lolu daba kanje.
All right, let us
Now,
take it in
I'm
this
not
fashion.
finished.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
understand. Sorry.
I'm still trying to help you. And then now, the seniors say to you, can you please give us your own statement, meaning yourself, as to when did this exhibit arrive at your office, who was there, what did you note on it, and all those things?
Kanti ke isikulu sakho siyasho ke ukuthi ungakwazi yini ukuthi usinikeze esakhe statement mayelana ke nale evidence bag lena ukuthi isili kwenzakaleni ngayo wayithola nini i-evidence bag lena into enjalo.
Yes.
Usungaphendula ke manje.
Okay. Ake silungise nali iphutha la mhlekazi.
Let's try and correct an error here.
Ngizokhulumela nje amaphoyisa ukuthi esikhathini esiningi mawuya uyobopha umuntu
I'll speak on behalf of the police members. Many a times when you go to arrest a person,
I'll be honest with you.
now I'll be honest with you.
Uthola ukuthi mhlambe i-forensic bag ayikho evenini.
Now you would find that the forensic bag is not inside of the vehicle.
Thank you. And uma umthola umuntu umsesh
And when you find a person and you search that person,
nasi spam.
he has a firearm.
Hayi iqiniso lehle ayikho into ozoyenza uzosithatha lesibhamu uze nomuntu uze police station.
The truth of the matter will remain. You will take the person and as well as the firearm and you proceed to the police station.
Mawufika ke police station uma ufika usuzovula idocket ke manje ufuna ukubopha lo muntu we manje
No, no.
ngokuthi utholakale nesibhamu esingekho
Now,
emthethweni.
when you get to the police station, you are now going to be opening a docket. You are arresting or incarcerating this person, that this person was found in possession of a firearm unlawfully.
Yes.
Then uzoqala ucompile ke i-statement sakho as a arresting officer.
Now, that is where you will start compiling your own or writing your own arresting statement or statement pertaining the arrest of this person as the arresting officer.
Thank you.
Uthe brief angithi mhlekazi.
Yeah.
You said brief, isn't it?
Mawusuqeda ke uzothatha kubhale ukuthi ngisemsebenzini isikhathi ukuthi ahamba endaweni eso wasesha umuntu wamthola emkhukhwini or la ekhona uthe uma useshe position yakhe wathola isibhamu bese wawusuyamthatha wambuza ilicense ukuthi iphi wathola umuntu yahluleka ukukhulula ilicense nge-naked eye yakho ibonayo yabona ukuthi lesibhamu lesifayiliwe off then ke manje uyamthatha ke ubhala statement njalo then mawusuqedile ke ukubhala statement sakho ke before statement sakho uzosibhala manje uzoya ku relief commander manje uyocela i-forensic bag.
Now, you would, for an example, if I were to put the content or the structure of the content, you would write the date, the time, and then where you had gone to, and you found the person, and you were doing the searching. As you were searching this particular person, you then found a firearm, and then you asked the license from this person, and this person could not produce the license of the firearm. And then when you look with your naked eye, you realize or you saw that the serial number of the firearm was filed off. And from there, you will have
Then
to go.
usuqedile ke nge-statement sakho but asikapheli kahle
Now you are done with your statement.
preliminary yaso.
That is
Lapha
just
nje
the
maybe
preliminary
paragraph
of
maybe ama-paragraph awu-4
Now that could be more or less about 4 paragraphs.
then mina i-paragraph
I'm sorry, Mr.
Let the witness go on, please. You invited that,
Oh, okay, go on.
writing a statement. How is going
Mina-
about it?
ngizothi mase before ngizovala i-statement sami before ngizofika ko-I know and what maybe i-paragraph yomi yokugcina ilapho esizoxoxa-ke manje ngoba funeke ngize kwi-13 bhukhu-ke manje ngizosifaka lesibhamu la kwi-13
Now before I could close that particular statement,
Yes.
I know the contents and so. There is SAP 13
Yes.
that I need to consult with now.
then-ke manje sengiyothatha-ke isibhamu manje exhibit
No.
sengiyayirejista-ke kula mabhuku ki-13
Now I'm going to take that firearm and now register it against the SAP 13.
njengoba ngichazile na izolo ukuthi i-SAP 13 le namakholoma awu-6
As I have explained yesterday, that the SAP 13 has got 6 columns.
then ngizoyibhala-ke yokuqala i-sequence number
I will write the first one would be the sequence number.
okay ngicela ukusho
Okay.
kube yi-OB bese ngisinikeza i-13 number kusho ukuthi izodependa ukuthi le phezulu uma ku-100 elandelayo kumele ithi 101
Then it will be the
13
OB and then a 13 number. If the one above is 100, the next one will be 101.
then ngiyabhala-ke ukuthi Cleveland case possession bese ngiza ku-3 ngizobhala ama-details esibhamu
Yeah, now I will come to the second column. It is the Cleveland case, the case number. And then when I get to third column, it will now be the description or the particulars of the firearm itself.
ukuthi i-Glock, i-R5, i-AK if ine-serial number ngizoyisho i-serial number
What type of a firearm that is. If there is a serial number, I will also say what serial number
if
that
ingeke
is.
i-serial number ngizomenshina futhi ukuthi it's been filed off
If there is no serial number, I will also mention there in that block that it has been filed off.
then-ke nawo bese ngicela-ke sengibhalile-ke zonke izinto la bese ngithi u-relief commander u-service commander sengicela ungiphe i-bag i-forensic bag.
Now I have jotted down in these columns, I will go to the relief commander and I will request from him or the service commander and say that, please give me a bag.
Lapha ku-3.1 yonke ama-item ahamba 111 isibhamu simentionwa sodwa as a 3.1 imagazini yamentionwa yodwa as 3.2 if kunenhlamvu ziyamentionwa zodwa if kunama-cartridge leyo nto leyo exhibit yakho yonke uyayimensiona la.
Now in that column, the third column, 3.1 for an example, you would say that you need to itemize all of these exhibits. A firearm, you itemize it, you say it's a firearm. Bullets, you say bullets. Magazine, you say bullets. And all, the magazine. And all of those, they have to come as exhibits.
And then you get from there bese uthatha ke ibag ke esuzifaka ebagini yonke lawo lezo zinto sibhalile lapha
Now,
zingene ku-1.
all of those things that you have itemized or written down there in that column, you put them into the bag. All of those. into the bag.
I-forensic bag wonke ama-forensic bag anama-serial numbers.
Now, as far as the forensic bags are concerned, all of the forensic bags have got the serial numbers.
Lapha ku-3.1 ku-13 lapha mawusuqedile ku-column 3 ekugcineni then ufuneka usho-ke manje ukuthi all the above items are being inserted afakwe la phakathi kule bag number so and so.
Now, on the SAP 13 register, you need to make mention of the fact that all the above mentioned items or all these items have been put inside of the evidence bag with a serial number so and so and so and so.
And then you bese uyayiseal
Then you seal that evidence
and you
bag.
make sure that it's sealed.
And you make sure that it is sealed. Wenza isiqiniseko sokuthi ivaleke ngempela.
Yes. And then you from there mawungakhumbuza ukuthi statement number singakapheli.
Now remember that my statement was not yet done. From there, the next step, that communicates
Then
to
my
my
last
statement.
paragraph before le yokuvala
Now,
declare.
the content of the last paragraph before the last one that concludes the statement.
Then lapho sengizosho khona ukuthi ngathi isibhamu lesi ngisitholile ngisimentionile nani ngikufake ku forensic bag number so and so which is sealed ne case number so ne 13 number so and so.
Now, that is where I'm going to mention now and list all the items that I found, all those items that were recorded against another register, and as well as they were put inside of the evidence bag number so and so, and they were sealed, and there is also the SAP 13 number, and as well as the case number that is pertinent to those exhibits.
And then again nduna mangiqeda lapho ke ngizobe sengithatha ke le exhibit bag ke manje nginikeza u-CSC relief commander lapha sesiya ku column 4 ngifakala amagama ami ngisho nanokuthi itholakale kanjani lesi.
Now that evidence bag will be given to the relief commander at CSC. That is when I come to column number 4 and have to finish the requirements or comply with the requirements of column number 4 there.
Usho ke ukuthi indlela engisithole ngayo lapha u4.2 ukuthi ngisithole kuphi kanjani.
Now I will then explain where was this or rather under which circumstances was this found
Then
and where was it found.
Ngibhale igama uma ine telephone number negama lomunikazi waso or umuntu engisithole kuyena uaccuse lapha nali if uyaziwa.
And also write the name, the telephone number of that particular person, or the names of the lawful owner, or the accused person, if it is indeed so that that person is known.
Then ku4.4 bese ngiyasayinda ke lapha ukuthi mina engifakele exhibit SSC.
Now in 4.4, or I comply with the requirements of 4.4 and indicate that I'm the one, I sign and indicate that I am the one that had signed there.
And then ke u-relief commander naye ke uzofaka isignature ku 4.5 or u-CSC commander acknowledge ukuthi ulungele ke Captain Mjali ngiyayithatha ke manje le exhibit yakho ngiyifaka eSafe.
The relief commander will also attach the signature acknowledging the receipt of this exhibit, indicating that I am now taking these items and I'm going to safekeep them in the safe.
Okunye nje ngizokucacisa njengoba induna ibuzile mase ngiyavale ukuthi ke
Now I'm about to conclude now.
ayizukuhlala ke la ihlale ize iye safini after 30 minutes immediately mase senzele ukusignature saqeda umsebenzi we relief commando sisi ukuthi alithathe lekepisi ayovula isafe abeke lapha avale safe.
It is not going to lie there and accumulating dust. Not even 30 minutes will be lying there. The relief commander, after the paperwork has been filled correctly, he will take this particular item and go and lock it inside of the safe immediately.
Ay statement sami ke sengiqedile ke mina docket say registered.
I have already finished my statement there, and now the docket is done.
Sengolindi IO ke mayingidinga ukuthi ngizofakaza court.
Now I will wait for the IO in case he needs me so that I can come and testify in court.
Njalo statement mhlekazi.
That is how the statement is, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Muchali. When you interacted with Mr. Kininda and Mr. Mangena from the 20th of July 2020, to the 27th of July 2020, is it correct that you made a statement wherein you explained how you interacted with them?
Mayelana ke nokuthi ube nokuxhumana okuba khona phakathi kwakho ke no Mangena ke no Kininda kusuka nge-20 zika July 2020 kufika nge-27 zika July 2020 ngabe kuyiqiniso ke ukuthi kwamele ukuthi okwafanele ukuthi wena uwenze i-statement esimayelana ke nokuxhumana kwakho kube khona phakathi kwalabantu ababili?
Yebo kunjalo.
Yes, it is so.
I'm going to show you a statement here. That's 163. Page 163. I'm going to show you a statement. Just want you just to confirm if that statement was made by you, it was made in your own handwriting, and the signature at the bottom there is yours.
Uqinisekisa ukuthi lesi statement esenziwa nguwe sabhalwa nguwe nesignature evelela khona lapha phansi yakho leyo signature.
Yebo kunjalo nje.
It is indeed so, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. You can take that statement back to my colleague.
Okay.
Now, this court has heard the testimony of Mr. Masondo, who was the investigator of the Cleveland case.
Le nkantolo isobuzile ke ubufakazi buka Baba Masondo okuyena obephenya leli cala lase Cleveland. Case lase yase Cleveland here.
He told this court that the type of a firearm that he was investigating was a CZ 9mm.
Utshela inkantolo
A
ukuthi
CZ 75.
CZ 75.
Yes.
Utshele inkantolo ukuthi leso sibhamu ke esasixhumene naleyo cala njengoba bephenya ke kanjalo wathola ukuthi leso sibhamu CZ 75. Ilokho atshela inkantolo.
No, now that's just by way of a background. And on being questioned, he considered that there are so many firearms of this nature that were produced and they just look similar, just like the 9mm parabellum or the Z88 that is used by the police.
Manje ke ushilo lokho ke uhlobo lwebhamu lolu la khiphuzwa luluningi kakhulu liyafana nje ne-9mm parabellum Z38 kanjalo.
Do you confirm that?
Uyaqinisekisa lokho?
Okwasho uMasondo.
No,
which was spoken by Masondo.
from your experience,
Ukuya
that
nge-experience yakho.
there are so many CZ75 firearms that have been
Ukuthi
produced.
lama CZ 75 maningi kakhulu akhiqizwe maningi.
Engingaba ngisebenza ngazo izibhamu ziyangena lapha emsebenzini yebo maningi impela.
Thank you.
Yes. Since I am working with a firearm there at my place of work, there are indeed a lot of those.
Thank you. And that is also confirmed by the fact that in in Exhibit X, X2, Annexure A. If you will go there. Annexure A, the very first firearm that you put in the list of firearms that were destined for destruction, it's a CZ 9mm.
Uyakubona lokho ukuthi naso ke uyabona item 1 ethi CZ in 9mm kwaku ezinye zeyibhamu ke or esinye seyibhamu esayifanele ukuthi naso siyo destroyer kunjalo.
Yebo kunjalo.
It isn't it so?
Then when you go to item number 9, it's also another CZ 9mm.
Masiya ku item number 9 sabona ukuthi nayi CZ 9mm enye futhi kunjalo.
Yebo kunjalo.
It isn't it so?
Thank you. Now, furthermore, in cross-examination, Mr. Masondo also confirmed that the firearm that he was investigating was sent for ballistic science laboratory at the FSL, and at the laboratory they were able to identify its original number through an etching process.
Through
An etching process.
Okay.
Through a process.
Umasonto.
Yes.
Ngophela ke uke wabuzwa imibuzo ke abameli lana uthi lesi sibhamu sahanjiswa sayiswa khona lapha ne-FSL kanti sithi masifika khona ke ngaleyo ngcuba seyishilo i-etching process kwakwazi ukuthi kutholakale inamba yakhona yaleso sibhamu.
Umasonto njalo.
Is that Masondo that is saying so?
Yes, it's Masondo.
Ngiyangumkhulumela ke Nkosi enkantolo.
Thank you.
If that is the case, I am not going to speak on behalf of Masondo.
And further on, he, under cross-examination, he said the owner of the firearm was traced, and it was discovered that the firearm actually belonged to a security company, Fidelity Security Company.
Umnikazi wesibhamu ke bamthungatha bamthola ke bathola ukuthi lesi sibhamu kahle kahle ke isibhamu se-Fidelity Company.
Oh, it was registered.
Okanye kwaba isibhamu esiregistered ngaphansi kwe-Fidelity Security Company.
Yes.
Ngisho njalo kusho ukuthi uyazi akwenzayo yena.
If that is what he says, it means that he knows what he is doing.
Yes. So, briefly, what I want to bring to your attention is that the investigating officer who was entrusted with the investigation of that firearm that he was investigating in Cleveland case, through the etching process, the numbers were retrieved. The owner or the ownership of the firearm was also identified.
So ke ukuthi lona ke okuyena ke obenegunya lokuthi angaphenya lelicala uye wakwenza lokho wathatha isibhamu wasisa kwi-ballistic ngayo leyo process okuthiwa i-etching kwase kuba ke kutholakala ke inombolo yaleso sibhamu ke nomnikazi wesibhamu watholakala.
Hayi cha. Ngiyakuzwa lokukhathi ngikuzwa namhlanje.
Yes, I can hear that, and I'm only hearing it today.
Yes, that is his undisputed evidence. Now, very quickly, let's go to Annexure X2. Let's go to Annexure X2, but before we go there, let me ask you the following.
X2.
Is it correct that when an officer comes to the police station to request for a firearm for purposes of investigation, the custodian, that's now the person in whose possession the firearm is at the police station, who in this instance would be the gentleman that is, or the lady responsible for the SAP 13, he will also, or she will also have to countersign as an acknowledgement that this firearm has been handed out.
ngabe kuyona inqubo ke leyo ukuthi nango phela icala iIO uzothatha isibhamu khona lapha na SAP 13 lona ocaphe iSAP 13 ngaba ke ubaba noma umama ogade khona lapha uma lona esayinela ukuskipha naye ufanele ukuthi asayine uqinisekisa ke okanye ukusho ukuthi sakhishwa yena ekhona ufanele ukuthi asayine lo ocaphe iSAP 13 naye
okwenzekayo lana ke njengamanje
No.
not yet done.
Just before you tell me about okwenzakalayo, is that what is supposed to happen?
Futhi ufuna ukwazi ukuthi ngabe yilokho okufanele ukuthi kwenzeke na abanye amazwe ufuna ukwazi ukuthi yebo noma cha
if isibhamu siyabuya or siyahamba
uthi isibhamu siyakhishwa iphoyisa liyafika lizosithatha lona ke okuyena obheke iSAP 13 ngabe naye ufanele ukuthi masiphuma leso sibhamu asayine naye phansi uqinisekisa ke ukuthi saphuma ngaphansi kwehlo lakhe ngamanye amazwi
no ngoba lento yenzeka about dala 2015
No, Mr.
bekungenzeki ukuthi umuntu asayinele isibhamu engilo kusebenza 13
bengenze na
masiphuma isibhamu awusayineli ngalezi akhathi kodwa kuimplementiwe manje it's a new implementation and sure there is a form unfortunately ayikho there is a form abayimplementile national ukuthi manje this is the form okufuneka isetshenziswe where both of you need to sign now the handing over and the receiver and the handing back and the receiver.
Okay.
now this is happening only now.
Yes.
There is a form that has been implemented.
Yes.
It was issued by the head office.
Yes.
That whenever there's a person that comes to book out the firearm,
Yes.
that form must be filled in. Together, you and the person that is booking out must then sign. Even upon the return of the particular firearm,
Yes.
you and the person that is bringing back the firearm must also sign. But back in the years, that was not happening. It is only happening now.
The form bayibiza ukuthi is a temporary receipt form.
That form is called temporary receipt form.
You have told this court that on the 20th of July 2017, no, listen to me, Mr. Mjali, listen to me.
Yes.
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 On the 20th of July, when Mr. Mangena came or when the person, you did not even know, actually you knew it was Mr. Mangena, but you did not know that he was forensic, he was a ballistic expert.
Yeah.
When he came to fetch the firearm, it was in your presence.
Uma eza ke ngoba ngaleso sikhathi uma ngena makeza ubungazi ukuthi lo mlisa lona okanye lo muntu lona ke uyi personnel yase forensic or ballistic uzile wazothatha ke lengxenye yobufakazi le exhibit wena ukhona uqobo lwakho
Yebo kunjalo.
it isn't it so yes
In other words, it is you who gave him the exhibit that he came to fetch.
ngabanye amazwi wena ke wamnikeza leyo exhibit ebezile ukuthi azoyithatha
Yebo.
yes sir
And that process of fetching of that exhibit by Mr. Mangena was also noted in the relevant register.
kanti ke leyo nqubo yokuthi lona uma ngena eze azothatha leyo ngxenye yobufakazi yabhaleka phansi nayo kwi register
Yebo.
yes
Mr. Mangena signed
uma ngena wasuyasayina
Yebo kunjalo.
it is indeed so
as an acknowledgement of receipt of that item that he came to take.
ngesiqinisekiso ke sokuthi uyitholile lento abezoyifuna khona lapha yana
Yebo.
that is correct
Did you sign?
when you were signed
No.
no I did not sign
Why?
ingani ungazange wasayina
Ingoba ngizoyibeka nje kanje ukuthi wayingekho isignature yami la mawungabheka la ama entry.
I'm not asking.
Why my
Sorry,
signature is not there. If you have a look at the entries here,
Sorry.
Let the witness explain. Now you're stopping him.
Mr. Msia, I'm sorry.
Mr. Nisi, let the witness explain. He wants to explain.
No, but the question is coming from me.
Right, that's how he's answering it. The other day, you gave me some lecture on what a witness is not allowed to choose and choose. Now, this one selects or chooses to explain. Let him do so.
But my lord, the question is, I'm not asking this witness whether or not he signed on the register. There, I'm asking him whether he signed or not. And then he's saying the reason why my signature is not in the registers. That's not my question. My question is, you say you did not sign. And you're saying yes. Now my question is, why did you not sign? I'm not asking you, why is it so that your signature is not appearing on the registers? Do you understand my question?
Ngizwele kahle kakhulu.
I heard you clearly.
Yes.
Ngizwele
Yeah, I heard you clearly.
Why did you not sign? Forget about the register. I will still come to the register. Why did you not sign?
Ingande ungasananga ke wena.
because angizange sayine ngoba wayesifaka futhi sikukhona umuntu ozosithatha ahambe naso same time. So sasihlalanga even 5 minutes leso sibhamu. Under my care, everything was done on a table.
Because it was booked in, and immediately, not even 5 minutes had passed after it was booked back. Then it was taken, and the transaction, all the transaction happened on my table, so it didn't take more than 5 minutes under my watch.
Maybe you did not understand my question, Mr. Mchali.
Mhlawumbe azange uzwe umbuzo wami.
Let me take it very slow.
Asithathe kancane ngonyawo lonwabo.
On the 20th of July 2020, when Mangena or Mr. Mangena came to fetch the firearm,
Day 20 zika July 2020, uMangena Mageza ezothatha isibhamu, uzobhuka out isibhamu.
did Mr. Mangena sign as an indication of the fact that I am now receiving this firearm, I'm taking it away?
Ubaba uMangena wasayina uqinisekisa ukuthi ngiyasithatha ke lesi sibhamu ngihamba ngaso. Ngabe kunjalo?
Eba kunjalo.
It is so, yes.
Thank you. Did you sign?
No.
No. Tika azange sign.
Why did you not sign?
Awusayinanga yini?
We didn't sign. We assign sayisibhale nje ukuthi item so and so is booked out to Pretoria by so and so, and lo muntu uyasayina ngoba uye manje in charge for that exhibit.
Normally
for
we
that
don't sign.
exhibit.
We will only mention that item such and such or item so and so was taken by such and such a person, maybe booking it out, going to Pretoria. We don't, and that person is the one that signs. We don't sign.
Yiko-ke additionally ilethe this temporary receipt which has been implemented now.
That is the reason why the National Office had introduced this temporary receipt form, which is being implemented now.
Because babalekele wona labaphutha lawenzekayo.
Because they were trying to curb these errors that were taking place in the SAP 13.
So what you're saying is, when the firearm, as per your explanation, is booked out, the person who is booking out the firearm was not expected to sign. It was only the person who was receiving the firearm was expected to sign.
Okushoyo yilokho ke ukuthi lona oskiphayo isibhamu bengalindelekile kuyena ukuthi makasayina. lona ke ostartayo uyena ke bekulindelekile kuyena ukuthi makasayine njengoba istarta ke lesi sibhamu usho njalo bekusetshenzwa kanjani.
Hayi ake siyilungise.
Let's correct this here.
Siyilungise ngosenkantolo.
Your lordship.
Mina asikho isidingo sokubhuka out isibhamu ngisise FSL.
Now,
As SAP 13.
Now, as an SAP 13 personnel, there is no need for me to can book out the firearm and take it to
SAP
to FSL or ballistic.
A responsible IO of that case uyokumele azosibhuka out from the story. Yena usibhuka out usisapi either ballistic or further investigation.
Now, the responsible IO is the very person that will have to come and book it out, be it that he is taking it to ballistics or for further investigations. He is the same person that has to book it
So
out.
uyokumele asayinele ngoba sizoba kwi-position yakhe.
He is the very person that has to sign for it because it will remain in his possession.
So that masilahleka sibuzwe kuyena.
So that if it gets missing or it gets lost, he should be the person that is going to be asked about it.
Yiko ke mina kungamele ngisayine ukuthi book out ngoba ngathi nje book out mina usho ukuthi sikwi-position yami.
Now that is the reason why I shouldn't sign the booking out, because that would then entail it is now in my possession if I sign against the book out of that particular item.
Thank you. Were you not even required to make a note in the register that such a firearm has been booked out or it was taken by, for instance, in this case, Mr. Mangena, for ballistic analysis?
Bengalindela ukuthi wena ukwenza lokho ukuthi ingxenye enjena ke yobufakazi okanye exhibit yakhishwa okanye yabhukwa out nguMangena ukuze ayokwenza aqhubeke ayosphenya lesi sibhamu. No,
bekungenzeki kanjalo esikhathini esidlule.
no, but previously that is not how the procedure was.
Thank you. Now, back to the statement that you made. If I were just to request that a copy of the statement be
I guess we are also lesi statement lesi osenzile.
Thank you. You had earlier on indicated that it's a statement and it's a signature and everything. I don't expect a policeman who makes his own statements to come and rebuke it and disown it. You understand? That would be very...
Angikulindele ke lokho ukuthi iphoyisa elizokwenza istatement esaso emva kwalokho ke ezila enkantolo abese ke uzokhuza ke okuqukethwe yilesi statement okanye ukusiphika leso statement.
Yes, to say, no, that's not me who said that.
Ukusho ke ukuthi cha akusiyimina owasho lokho.
Thank you, Mr. Mchali. My Lord, with the permission of the court, I'm going to request that at the end of it all, that this be handed in an exhibit. My colleagues will assist me as to what exhibit should this be, but briefly, this is what you state, Mr. Mchali, in the statement.
Yes.
Lokho kushoyo ke kulesi statement sakho ngizocela ke ukuthi le ngxenye ke yobufakazi ingene okanye lesi statement singene njengengxenye yobufakazi la enkantolo.
I think you were given a copy, probably the photocopying machine had a problem, but down there it stated the 5th of August 2020. That is as I stretch my eyes.
Yes. That is correct, yes.
Thank you.
E5 is August 2020.
Now you are saying there, I'm going to read what you wrote. I'm an adult. I'm an adult male employed in the South African Police Service as a warrant officer.
Warrant officer.
Stationed at Cleveland, South African Police Services.
Cleveland, South African Police Services.
attached to
Estates
this
Assessment.
pole and perform duties as an exhibit commander with service number and a telephone number that is stated in the statement.
Umsebenzi engiwenzayo ke omayelana ke noku gcina kwema exhibits
Exhibit commander.
njengo exhibit commander one number leyana ke ese ishiwo khona lapha.
Now, in paragraph 2 thereof, you state that on Monday, the 27th of July, 2020, at about 14,
Bo quarter to 3 emini bebat.
I was on duty at my office.
Ganti bengise emsebenzini khona lapha e-office lami.
I was approached by Colonel Kininda from National Head Office, Cold Case Unit,
Kwase kuza kimina ke uKenneth Gininda owayecama khona lapha e-National Head Office Cold Case Unit.
Colonel Kininda asked me to book out exhibit SAP 13/86/2015 on Fosloras case 63610 of 2014.
uKenneth Gininda ke wasuyangicela ukuthi mangimbukele out i-exhibit SAP 13/86/2015.
Items were sealed in a forensic bag number PA 400-440-4332, which was containing a firearm and an empty magazine.
Kanti ke le ingxenye lezi ke zazifakwe ngaphakathi o leyo nto yayifakwe ngaphakathi kwesil ivaliwe ethi ngisho kanjalo ke iyayivaliwe ngaphakathi okanye isiliwe ngaphakathi kwe-forensic bag number PA 400-440-4332 kanti ngaphakathi kwakhona ke isibhamu no magazine owawungenazo inhlamvu.
I am confirming that the said exhibits were not tampered with while they were under my care.
Ngiyaqinisekisa ke ukuthi le ngxenye ke zobufakazi okanye lama exhibit bewangazange abanjwe okanye abe tempered ngenkathi ke asaqashwe yimi.
Mr. Kininda was also provided with copies of SAP 13/86/2015 from the original SAP 13 registrar, which is kept in my office book, which is kept in my office. That is book number 3/2 in brackets 2014/2017, page 21.
Kanti uKenneth Gininda wase unikwa ke amakhophi we-SAP 13/86 ye 2015 uqhamuka kwi-original yayo i-SAP 13 lena ke kanti i-register yakhona okungukuthi igcinwa khona laphana e-office lami kanti i-book 03/02 ngaphakathi kuma-brackets ke wasubhala 2014 we are 2017 but page 21.
Now you conclude the statement by saying, I know and understand the content of this declaration. I have no objection to taking the prescribed oath, and you consider the prescribed oath to be binding on your conscience, and then you went to sign it and you put in your force number and the date on which you made the statement.
Kanti ke wase uyaqhubeka ngaleyo paragraph ukuthi ngiyazi futhi ngiyazwisisa ke okuqukethwe lesi simemezelo kanti anginayo ke inkinga ukuthi ngathatha isifungo futhi ke ngizaloko ngikhumbula ukuthi isifungo sinamandla olawulo phezulu nembeza wami emva kwalokho ke wase ubhala khona lapha ufaka i-force number yakho wasayina wafaka ne-date khona lapho.
Do you understand your statement?
Uyazwisisa ke?
Yebo kunjalo.
Yes, it is indeed so.
Thank you. Do you confirm that also in your statement, which is a document that you had penned to try and explain what could have happened as you dealt with this firearm, you do not mention that on the 20th of July 2020, Mr. Mangena came in your presence to come and fetch the firearm in question for ballistic
Kulesi
analysis.
statement sakho khona ke okungaveleli kulesi statement sakho. Ukho konke okuqukethwe istatement akuvelele ukuthi uMangena weza nge-20 zika July 2020 ukuthi makaze azobhuka out lesi spam ukwenza azothatha lesi spam. Uyakubona lokho?
Ngiyabona lokho.
Yes, I can see that.
Thank you.
But yes?
Kunombuzo lapho.
There is that a question or?
No, I'm only bringing it to your attention.
Or should ngiyaqaphelisa nje kuphela. Understood.
Thank you. And you are saying in your evidence in chief very emphatically again that exhibits which are under your custody, they don't get to be tampered with.
Usho kanjalo ke ubufakazi bokuqala uma umbuso ubuza imibuzo kanye umusho ukuthi kubuza imibuzo ukuthi yabona ingxenye zobufakazi ezicatshwe nguwe hayi angeke
So, kept by you.
usho lokho ke uchubeke uqinisekise ukuthi lokho ngeke kuze kwenzeke ngenxa yokuthi phela ke ikey zalapha yana kwi strong room zihlala kuwe.
Yebo kunjalo.
Isn't it so?
Thank you. I won't be long.
Ngeke ngibe mtheke.
Mr. Mangena, who the state will still call to come testify, has also made a statement explaining how he got possession of the firearm or the exhibit, which we know is a firearm, of course.
Ngena okunguthi umbuso uzokwazi ukuthi umbize ukuthi makeze ezothula ubufakazi la enkantolo naye usenzile sakhe statement sokusho ukuthi uthathe iziphi inyathelo wenze kanjani ukuthi egcineni ke athole lezi ngcenye zobufakazi.
And this is what he's going to say.
Lokho azokhuluma ke ilokho kulandelayo.
I'm going to read from an affidavit that he penned on the 12th of August 2020.
Ngizofunda kule affidavit ayenzile nge-12 zika August 2020.
If I'm not mistaken, it's just 5 days after you had penned yours.
Uma ngingaphosisi ke mhlambe insuku ezu5 emva kokuthi wena ke uwenze esakho istatement.
Now, very quickly, this is why we will come and tell this court
Bamangena zokhuluma
on Monday,
uzosho ke lana athi ke ngomsombuluko
the 20th of July 2020,
nge-20 zika July 2020
in the performance of his duties,
uthi ke lokwenza umsebenzi wakhe
he booked out an exhibit, a firearm and ammunition at Cleveland SAPS, as per Cleveland case number 9602.
usho njalo uthi ke ngase ngikhipha 02
2015.
okay uthi ke ngase ngiyobhuka out i-exhibit okanye kuyisibhamu nenhlamvu zakhona khona laphana eCleveland SAPS ukuya ngale Cleveland case number 96/02/2015
from SAP 1386 of 2015.
ophuma kuyo i-SAP 1386 ya 2015.
The said exhibits, now that is what Mr. Mangena will come tell this court. The said exhibits were received in an open evidence bag with number PA 400 4000 810885.
Ilokho akushoyo ke uthi lama exhibit okukhulunywa ngawo khona laphana ke atholakala ngaphakathi kwe evidence bag evuliwe iyena leyo number lo ke iPA 40081085
and were booked out for further examination purposes as per Foslorus case 636
yase Phosphorus case number 636/10/2014.
Thank you, sir.
Shabong.
Now, in essence, Mr. Mangena would come to this court that indeed on the 20th, he went to Cleveland Police Station and booked out these exhibits, but when he booked them out, these exhibits were contained in an open evidence bag.
Uzoza ke aqinisekise lo Mangena ukuthi uyile khona lapha eCleveland Police Station kanti uthi makafika khona ke nge-20 zika July 2020 ayo booker out ingxenye zobufakazi uthe ke makafika khona lezo ingxenye zobufakazi zazingaphakathi kwe-evidence bag eyayingavaliwe.
And that is in short what he will come and tell this court amongst others. Is it correct, sir, that in your statement that we had dealt with earlier on, you do not mention that Mr. Mangena came on the 20th of July 2020 to come and book out these items that he says, to put them out?
Ngabe kuyiqiniso ke ukuthi estatement sakho awuzange ukusho lokho ukuthi nge-20 zika July 2020 ubaba Mangena weza ezokhipha ke okanye ezobhuka akhiphe isibhamu khona lapha yana SAP30 awushongo lokho.
Statement sami lesi ndona.
Are you referring to that statement?
Yeah,
no, I didn't say it. Yes, indeed, I didn't say that.
Is it further correct, sir, that on the very same statement, you do not mention that the bag that contained the exhibits that Mr. Mangena came to fetch on the 20th of July 2020 was not sealed?
Le exhibit bag lena eyayifake ingxenye zobufakazi uMangena bezoyilanda ibingavaliwe okanye
Correct that as you have listened to what I put to you as what would Mr. Mangena would come and say, that Mr. Mangena does not mention the fact that he received these exhibits on the 20th of July 2020 from warrant officer, as you were then, Mchali.
uyaqinisekisa ukuthi akakusho lokho ukuthi lezi zinto wayithola kuwe warrant officer Mchali ngaleso sikhathi akusho ku warrant officer Mchali. Yes, I agree. He doesn't mention that. He didn't say it.
Thank you, sir. I said to you, I won't be long.
Ngithe kuwe angizoba mude.
Do you remember at the inception of our engagement, that is now me and you, in cross-examination, you said the reason why you were so emphatical and you were so strict about the fact that exhibits that are brought to your attention should always be contained in sealed exhibit bags, not so?
Uyakhumbula ke waqinisekisa nje ubulumise nje amazinyo wakho kanjalo ukuthi hayi ama exhibit alethwa la kuwena afanele ukuthi abe sewasiliwe alethwe kuwe asiliwe.
Yebo kunjalo.
It is indeed so, yes.
Is it further correct that in that initial engagement you agreed to the fact that the purpose of a seal or of a sealed bag is to ensure that evidence is not being contaminated or altered in transportation and or storage?
Wase uyaqinisekisa futhi ukwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi ama exhibit alethwa ngebheki evaleke ngci uqinisekisa ke ukuthi akhuselekile ukuthi mhlambe mawahanjiswa nanoma abekwa abe kanjalo ukuthi avikelekile ngaleyo ndlela.
Kunjani phela?
It is indeed so, yes.
Thank you. Let me bring a very light moment. Now, is it then not so that on the basis of this immediate factual matrix, there exists a likelihood that the firearm that Mr. Mangena received on the 20th of July 2020 could not have been or might not have been the original firearm that was brought to Cleveland Police Station by Mr. Masondo? If you have got an answer to this, you can say, I'm Nisim, I don't want to commit myself. Or you can just answer if you want.
No comment.
Yes.
No comment.
Uthi cha ngeke ngiyiphendule leyo nto leyo ukuthi lesi sibhamu esalethwa kunokwenzeka ukuthi akusisona esalethwa phambilini. Futhi ke nge-20 zika July 2020 kunokwenzeka ke uMangena Mageza ezothatha isibhamu bekungesona ke isibhamu sokuqala uthi cha angifuni ukuphawula ke khona lapho.
Yes. On the 27th of July 2020, you did your best that you could do under the circumstances when they brought back this firearm from Forensic Science Laboratory. However, nobody would know that it was the original firearm that was put in by Mr. Masondo. Not so. We don't have a comment as well.
No comment.
You know the mannerism here. There is no comment.
Yes.
Usho njalo ke uthi udabu yalazi angeke ngize ngiphawule khona lapho ukuthi lesi sibhamu nge-27 zika July 2020 masilethwa siqhamuka khona lapha yana FSL kunokwenzeka ke ukuthi bengabe kulethwe isibhamu okungesona uthi hayi lapho ke angiphawuli.
Thank you, sir.
Can I say something?
No.
No.
Thank you, sir. From me to you, the very best we can. Thank you, my Lord. I no longer have any question to this
Yes,
witness.
sorry, the normal.
Thank you, my daughter. I have no cross-examinations with this witness. Thank you.
Cross-exam, Mr. Mhlolo.
Captain. Yes. Could you just assist me where I recorded your information wrong, okay?
Imininingwane yakho ngiyibhale kambi ngendlela engeyona uzongiqondisa. Understood?
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah.
Okay. As a police officer, as a captain, I think that's the senior position in the SAPS. What measures, what do you do to ensure that there is no tampering in the exhibits when the exhibits are being handled by members of the SAPS?
Nje ngesikhulu khona lapha ngizothatha ukuthi njengokapteni uyisikhulu khona lapha esiphoyiseni. Kanti ke eziphi inyathelo oyithathayo ukwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi le ingxenye zokufakaza ama exhibits akhona lapha yana okusetshenzwa ngawo khona lapha yana station njengoba egcinwe khona lapha na station akuthemparwa ngawo.
Okokuqala nje.
Firstly,
yiko lo kusho ukuthi yiko kwaba khona ukuthi ku manufacture ama forensic bag.
Okay.
it is the reason why, or there was a necessity that there should be forensic bags that are manufactured.
Okay.
Leo forensic bag, once you remove wasusa lel paper eli orange, you seal it. Angeke uzuyikhaqe nangesandla.
Now, once you have removed the
It's a sealant.
It's a sealant.
Plastic.
It's a sealant. The color you said
Sealant
it's
plastic,
yellow.
Yeah, yellow.
The yellow sealant plastic, once it is removed from the seal, it is not easy. It is not, and that bag has to be sealed. It is not easy for you to try and separate or try to open it or unzip it with your own hands.
Okay.
Okunye ke nje kuba ukuthi ama member funeka ahlale nje ekhunjulwa njalo ukuthi ngokubaleka kwe evidence. ukumele iye court.
Now the member should, that is the next thing. The member should always be reminded of the evidence that needs to be sent to the courts.
That ukuthi akumele nje ize ibe tampered with. So
That it shouldn't be tampered with.
Okay.
Ukuthi akufanelanga ke ukuthi lezo ingcezu zobufakazi ezizoya enkantolo lokuyibanjwa zama ukuvulwa into enjalo.
Okay. In this exhibit that we have testified about, has that procedure been followed?
Kule exhibit lena ke okungukuthi uzele yona lana enkantolo ngabe leyo ngqubo ke lezo inyathelo zathathwa yini?
zathathwa kodwa ke inkinga ukuthi manje njoba sekubekiwe la ukuthi khona izinto ezingahambi indawonye sesingathi hayi igejekile kancane.
Okay.
Well, yes, that procedure was actually taken, but it was pointed out that there are certain things that are not corroborative. Then
what
we would
is
say
ukugejeka?
that
Let's
they've
Ukugejeka, let's get the explanation, the interpretation of the word ukugejeka. Yes.
I guess I'm good. There are things that did not take place,
There were
or
not-
the discrepancies.
There are procedures that were not followed, Mr. Mchali, am I correct?
Bunjalo ke kukhona ama procedure angazange alandelwe.
Yebo ngokuphambi kwami ngibona kanjalo.
Yes, what is before me, that's how I view it as well.
Okay. Well, this exhibit was taken to the ballistic.
Ganti ke lama exhibits athathwa aswa khona laphayana ballistic.
At the first time. First time,
Okokuqala.
it was taken to the ballistic and it was sealed as per your evidence.
Zathathwa zaiswa ku ballistic section ganti ke zasilwa ukuya ngobufakazi bakho.
Okay. Cela ngiyazi ukuthi akumele ngibuze kodwa ngifuna ukuba neclarity. Sikhuluma nge-10 zika February 2015 uMasondo noma sikhuluma manje ngoKennel Mangena.
Now, I know that I need not ask questions in this honorable court. Are we now, I'm seeking clarity. Are we now referring to the 10th of February 2015, or are we with Masondo, or are we now referring to the one that has to do, the 2020 that has to do with Mangena?
Mangena Kennel is for the second time.
Yes.
Kanti Mangena Westbin.
I'm asking at the beginning,
Ngibuza laphayana ekuqaleni.
at the beginning when this exhibit went to the ballistic.
Okokuqala nje uma lama exhibits ayale kwi ballistic.
Yes, it was sealed. Am I correct?
Ibisiliwe ke leyo evidence back.
Yes, ngokubhaliwe la phansi yayisiliwe.
Yes, based on what is written down here, it was sealed.
And you testified about that information regarding the sealing of the bag.
Yes.
Wabuletha ke ubufakazi obumayelana ke nokuvalwa kanye nokusilwa kwaleso sikhwama. Yes.
And you even said at the ballistic, if the exhibit bag is opened, they don't accept it.
Wakusho lokho.
Did I hear you
ukuthi
correct?
Laphayana ku ballistic uma ngabe le bag ivuliwe angeke baze bayithathe leyo bag.
Kunjalo.
It is indeed so.
But the one that was taken by Mangena, opened, it was received by the
Kanti
ballistic.
le yathathwa uMangena bayamkela ke yona ivuliwe.
Angazi kwamangena funeka azochaza yena ukuthi bayithathe kanjani.
I don't know that point. Mangena should come and explain as to how did they take it? How did they receive it?
And it is your evidence now after these corrections of your statement that you did not include in your statement, that this exhibit was booked out by Mangena unsealed because it was open.
Kanti ke ubufakazi bakho ukuthi leyo ngcenye ke yobufakazi ongayifakanga ku statement ukuthi le evidence lena ke iyathathwa uMangena ivuliwe ingasilwanga.
Ke silungise nali phutha.
Let us just correct some mistake here.
Statement isenziwe ngezi 5 of August.
The statement was done on the 5th of August.
And senziwa ngoba kufuneka i-change statement mina ngilibuzwa uBrigadier Genendi.
Now it was done because it was needful of me that I should provide the chain statement which was needed by Brigadier Geninda.
So umangena kule statement sami akekho kusona that's why ngazange ngumthinti.
Now, on this statement of mine, there is no Mangena there. That is why I did not even make mention of Mangena there.
Okay.
And I mentioned that you would masisithathwa lesibhamu mawungabheka la ukuthi ama serial number nama serial number ayi-2 are different.
Now,
So mina ngikhulume nge-serial number ayi-1 yeluphuzayo.
Now, I can also make mention of the fact that when the firearm was taken, we need to pay attention to the fact that there's 2 seal numbers here, and I only made mention of one seal number here, or seal bag number.
Okay, Colonel.
When the brigadier booked it out.
Whether you made that statement or whether you did not make them, whether you entered the exhibit books as we have been entering, there is nowhere you mentioned that Mangena took out the exhibits in an exhibit bag that was open. Am I
Akukho la
correct?
uyishoyo ke leyo nto okanye lolo daba ukuthi uMangena wazothatha ke i-exhibit ithwelwe yi-exhibit bag evuliwe akuveleli kwi-statement.
Yebo kunjalo.
It is indeed
Yes,
so. It
that's what
doesn't
I'm-
appear in the statement.
That's where I'm referring to. Mangena was able to take out an exhibit from you, Colonel. Am I correct?
Kunjalo ukuthi uMangena wakwazi ukuthi athathe le exhibit kuwe. I-exhibit bag kuwena. Yes.
In his statement, he mentions that the exhibit was in an open book. Sorry,
statement-
my lord. In an open bag.
Forensic bag.
Do you agree with that it was in an open bag?
Usho njalo ke yena kwi-statement sakhe ukuthi le exhibit ibi makayithola uyithole ingaphakathi kwe-exhibit bag evuliwe. Uyakuvuma lokho?
Hayi ngivumi lokho mina ngayizala.
Okay.
No, I
Ngitshela ukuthi why ayalanga kwasekuqaleni sibhale ngibhale statement ukuthi why was it open?
I disagree. I do not.
Statement there and there.
I do not concur with that. He himself should come and explain to the court as to how did it come about that he received a forensic bag that was not sealed. He should come and say that.
Okay.
And perhaps even provide the statement pertaining that.
In your evidence, it was in a sealed bag.
In my evidence, it was the first one when Mangena answer to Mangena eithatha.
Yes, when Mangena
Yes,
took
at the time that Mangena took it,
Yes, it was sealed.
shonjalo ukuthi ibe isiliwe.
Where is it that
Ibisiliwe.
you recorded that Mangena booked out the exhibit in a sealed exhibit bag as per exhibit so and so number?
Kukuphi la
When
ubhale
Mangena
khona?
is taking it out.
Because asikho statement angeke ngiarguishe ngalokho
I wonder-
ngoba into engayibeka la etafuleni ibonakala.
Because there isn't any statement, there isn't any tangible thing that I can put on the table pertaining that. Therefore, I cannot argue
When-
on that particular point.
When the firearm comes back from, does it come in a sealed exhibit bag? Or how does it come?
Uma sibuya-
Regarding the sealing of,
Sesikhuluma ngokusila-ke mase sibuya
Of the
kunjani
exhibit.
sibuya sisiliwe ibheke yakhona isiliwe noma sibuya kunjani.
Awuthi ke ngicaciseke futhi lana.
Let me also further explain on this one.
Ngiqala nje
Explain
ekuqaleni.
here. I'll start it from the beginning.
Isibhamu masisuka eCSC sisiliwe. Size e-storeroom sisiliwe.
When the firearm leaves the CSC, it leaves the CSC sealed, it gets to the storeroom still sealed.
Uma sibukwa i-IO to ballistic for analysis sihamba silile njengoba ngishilo ukuthi ngeke basithathe sivuliwe.
Now, even when it is booked out by the IO to ballistic,
but they took the
it
one that
will,
was.
for analysis, it will then go back, it will go to ballistic still sealed.
And masifika sisilile ballistic. Yibo manje angifune basisebenze. Angeke basisebenze seplastikini.
Now, when it gets to the ballistic and it has to be worked upon, it can't be worked on while it is still in the evidence bag that is sealed.
So bazoyivula ibheke.
Then they are going to open the bag, and there's a demonstration.
And
with the scissors.
mabeqeda uyivula ibheke basisebenze kuthathe what leso sikhathi abazosithatha.
Now, after they have opened the bag, they will take whatever time they will take on that while working on that exhibit.
And now masebesiqedile sebethi sesicompletile yonke i-analysis yalesibhamu bazosifaka to a new forensic bag.
Now, once they say that they are done now doing their investigations or their analysis on the firearm, they will take that firearm and put it into a new forensic bag.
And then that's a big bazoyisila futhi.
That forensic bag is going to be sealed again.
Makukhona umuntu ohamba olanda leza sibhamu le siziza zisiliwe. I vouch my head la. Zizi bhamu zisiliwe zonke from ballistic.
Now I will vouch my head on this one. If there's any person that will go to the forensics to go and fetch those exhibits, they will come to us sealed.
And sizo receiver.
And then we will receive the
Sisibhale book back.
and then we will write down the book back,
The firearm from FSL.
the firearm from FSL.
And then
Ukuthi ke, sesiyasi samkela isibhamu esiqhamuka khona laphayana ku FSL forensic science laboratory.
Sinjalo bese sisibeka safe.
While still sealed like that, and then we're going to put it in the safe.
Okay.
So ke impela ngiba nenkinga ukuthi sithema sesiphuma kwesibili besivuliwe eneke nje sengibekela nje enkantolo ngangasilona na iphoyisa ke ngabo 2015 ngangisayekile kancane ngisaphumula.
And now the fact that when it was now booked out for the second time, it was now opened, it really confuses me.
Not the second time.
Nini?
When it comes back the first time.
The first.
Oh, sorry. When it came back the first time, after it was booked out, it was now opened. That confuses me. There isn't much that I can say about that. And further, let me concede it to this honorable court. During those years, 2015, I was not even working during that time.
Okay, can through your assistance, Colonel, and in your registers there, when it came back, when did it came back? What was the sealback number that exhibit came with? If we do have that information.
Ngengxenye yobufakazi okanye kulama register onawo, i-sealback number ibethini ke.
Ake ngoze enkantolo ke ngichaze ke futhi la ukuthi isibhamu sihamba ne-sealback ibuye seyikhathiwe seyibuya with the new sealback.
Yes.
Let me explain that. It goes with the sealback. When it comes back,
With the new
it
sealback.
comes with a new, because it gets cut. The first one gets cut,
Yes.
open, and then then when it comes back, it comes with a new one.
Iqiniso lihle ke nje silibeka obala ukuthi mase sibuya with the new sealback akukho lapho esirekhoda khona. Silibeke nje lapho nje.
Truth is good to be told. Upon its return, there isn't anywhere that we're writing that sealback number of the new.
Sisho nje ukuthi items
new bag.
sibhala nje ukuthi items so and so booked back from FSL.
That is what we're going to generalize, that item so and so has been booked back from FSM.
Masingaphenyi incwadi zami lezi ama original phela ngeke uyithole ientry lezi items so and so booked back ne-serial number so.
Even if we can produce the documents that I am having here, or my documents here, we will not find a note that says item so and so came back with a new sealback number so and so. That you will not find.
Okay. So in other words, Colonel, there is no evidence before this court or from your testimony proving that this exhibit, particular one, came back in a sealed exhibit bag with the sealed bag number of that particular bag. There is no evidence. There is no record of that information.
Akukho okulotshwe phansi okumayelana ukuthi uma le ngxenye yobufakazi ibuya ngesealback nokuthi inamba lo yakhona yiyo.
Njengoba ngisho ke nje kansela ukuthi mina njengoba ngiqala ukusebenza lapha 2019 ama-bag abuya nama-sealback. That's why mina sami statement sine new sealback number.
As I've already indicated, I started working there in 2019, that when the exhibit come back, they come back with a new seal,
With the new forensic bag.
new forensic
So
bag.
obviously it's a new banini seal number iba yicho.
And even the seal number becomes the new seal number.
That's why
And in
mina
my statement,
ngikhuluma ngale bag engayihambisa nginikeza uGenindi which was sealed.
that is why in my statement I make mention of the bag that I gave to Geninda, which was sealed.
Okay, don't be all over.
Ungagcwali yonke indawo ke, Ken.
I'm just asking one question at a time.
Ungibuza nje umbuzo owodwa nje.
Here, I need confirmation from you that from your evidence, there is no proof, there is no record in which this exhibit back came with regarding the seal back number of that exhibit. I just want that
Ayikho.
clarity.
Ayekho.
Yes, there isn't. There is no proof, yes.
Okay. how long did you keep that exhibit from the ballistic until the time when it was taken by Mangena?
Why begage isikhathi esingakanani leyo?
How long was it kept in a
exhibit?
storeroom? By you, I mean the storeroom.
Senchuthi
Sorry,
istoreroom
ma'am.
kwathatha isikhathi esingakanani ukuthi ibuye yazophindo izothathwa ngumangena.
Okusho ukuthi masikufuneka sirefere la encwadini.
Now
Ngoba
we have-
bengekho kodwa sireferele encwadini ukuthi yahamba nge-10 ibhukwa uMasondo ngoFebruary.
Now we'll have to refer to the book because
Okay,
I have
10
already
10 of which
indicated that I
month?
was
10 of February 2015.
So it was actually booked out by Masondo on the 10th. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, by Anishoto Masondo.
Yes.
It was booked out by Masondo on the 10th of February 2015.
Yes.
Then if you open the next page,
Yes.
uDlamini wayibuyisa on the 24th of February 2015.
If you open the next page, it was brought back by Dlamini on the 24th of February 2015.
So yahlala ke 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 up until ngo 2020, so ihlale 5 years before uKenneth Mangena azoyilanda.
Now it remained in the store for about 5 years. That is counting from 2015 up to 2020 before Kenneth Mangena could come and book it out.
And we have no evidence to say this exhibit, when it was stored for 5 years, it was contained in a seal bag
Kanti-ke
for the
abukho-
duration of 5 years. We don't have that evidence.
Abukho
Am I correct?
option ukuthi ngenkathi isahleli lapho ibekwe kwi-store 5 years yonke ibiloko isilekile abukho ubufakazi obunjalo.
No comment uba bengekho ngaleso sikhathi.
I cannot comment because I wasn't there during that time.
Yeah, I know you were not there, Colonel, but I'm trying to understand your evidence.
Ngiyazi ukuthi ubungekho lapho kodwa ke ngizama ukuqondisisa ke ubufakazi bakho.
To say when all the exhibits are kept in the storeroom, they will either be tagged or also put in an exhibit bag so that they can be easily be identifiable.
Ukuthi
That was your evidence.
Bonke ubufakazi okanye ingxenye zobufakazi ezise storeroom mhlambe ke ziyathekwa okanye zifakwa kuyibheke ukuya ngobufakazi.
Yebo kunjani.
Yes.
It isn't it so yes.
So from your evidence and from what has transpired in these records, it shows that there is no evidence that for the duration of 5 years, this exhibit was kept in a sealed exhibit bag.
Abukho ke ubufakazi obuvelelayo kulamaphepha owaphethe okanye lama-register awaphethe ukuthi le ngxenye yobufakazi yayiloko isiliwe kahle for le minyaka ewu5 abuveleli nje lobo bufakazi obunjalo.
Hayi ngavumelana naye kanjani.
Yes, in that way I will agree with you.
Okay, thank you. And then, Colonel, were you an exhibit clerk? I'm used to that term. Were you an exhibit clerk?
Exhibit clerk.
Bayibiza kanjalo.
That's how they call it, yes.
Yeah,
Some
that was your
people-
title at that particular
Ngaleso
time.
sikhathi. That is correct,
Okay.
yes. Uthi bengiyilo njani exhibit clerk ngaleso sikhathi.
Yes, and then as an exhibit clerk, you were in custody and you were controlling the exhibits. Am I correct? At the station.
Ngaleso sikhathi ke bekuwena ke obeqaphela ama exhibit futhi bekuwena ubulawula ke lama exhibits lawa.
Yebo.
Yes.
So if a member comes in requesting the exhibit, will you ask him, will you verify if he is an investigating officer of that case? If not, would you verify the capacity in which he is requesting or is booking out that particular
Uma
exhibit?
ilunga liza khona lapha uyaqinisekisa ke ukuthi ngabe uyilunga nje eliphenya lelicala okanye uma kungelona ilunga eliphenya icala ngabe ufuna leyo ngxenye yobufakazi ngaphansi kweziphi izathu ubuqinisekisa ke lokho.
Hayi cha.
No.
Okay,
I wouldn't verify.
So any member at the station can just come and ask for the exhibit and you'll give that exhibit out.
ngamanye amazwi ke nanoma ubani ilunga nje le SAPS khona laphana e-station lingeza lizofuna ke le ngxenye okanye i-exhibit bese wena uyayikhipha nje kanjalo.
No, hayi ngeke kwenzeka lokho.
No,
Yeah,
that
so-
will never happen.
So how did you monitor
Monitor
the exchange of
Uma
this?
umuntu efika
when a
Yes.
person comes,
uyaintroduce yena kuqala ukuthi ubani ubuyapi uzofuna ini.
they introduce themselves first, who he is or who she is, where is he coming from, why is he there.
And when that person is introducing himself, you'll be sitting with the records reflecting the real investigating officer in that case. Am I
Uma lo
correct?
muntu esho kanjalo wena uzobuhleli nerecord eshoyo ukuthi ngubani ophenya icala okuyena ngqo umuntu ophenya icala.
Oh, you don't?
Cha.
No.
SAP 13 asazi ukuthi ama exhibit aphenywa ubani lawo macala.
No, we don't
Kono
know.
iwani ongakusho lokuthi yonke into elapha e13 lena ubani uIO ubani uIO. No, we don't know.
No.
That is not
We-
happening.
That does not fall within our knowledge. To say that this exhibit, it is investigated by so and so, and that one is actually investigated by so and so. That does not happen there. at
Okay,
SAP
so if
13.
any person just come and introduces himself as IO and demands the exhibit, you'll just take it out.
Uma ke umuntu efika ethi ke kuwe eyithula njengo-IO uvele ke umnikeze leyo exhibit.
That's why ke sidemanda ukuthi ngoba sinale gqebhezana eziso kumele ashiye lesigqebhezana sakhe esishoyo ukuthi uyena oyithathile le exhibit.
Now,
But mina anginayo i-right ukuthi ngimbuze ukuthi ngoba le exhibit ye-case eso why uyithatha. Cha,
No,
I don't
that
have
is
right.
why we are having some leaflets like these ones that has to be attached when a person introduces themselves there. And as for me to interrogate the reasons why the person should be taking such an item, it's not within my capacity to do that.
Okay. And you... Sorry, just one more question. I'm sorry about that. I'm taking you back to what I've asked. In the duration of 5 years, we don't know whether there has been any exchange in this exhibit, of which we do not have record. We do not have its record that it was sealed for the duration of 5 years. We don't know if there was any exchange of that document which was kept in an exhibit bag of which we do not have evidence that it was sealed.
Yabona kule 5 years leyo asinayo futhi record eshoyo ukuthi kwaba ne-exchange asazi ukuthi kwaba ne-exchange ethize kuleyo 5 years leyo yale ngxenye yobufakazi eyayifakwe kwi-evidence bag eyayinga singenaso isiqiniseko sayo ukuthi yayisiliwe.
Iqiniso lilo lempela ngisho ukuthi from 2015 to 2019 angeke ngutshela ukuthi what happened there. Mina ngakutshela nje ukuthi kodwa ke from 2019 up until today njoba ngimela ubamange Colonel Mangena weza wazobhuka le exhibit out ngamnikeza wayibhuka back yaphuma futhi yabhuka out to brigadier. Lokho ngakhuluma ukuthi kwenzekeni 2019 to 2015 hayi cha anginama answer lapho.
As far as 2015 to 2019 is concerned, I cannot assist you with answers there. I can only tell you about what happened, the account between 2019 to 2020, 2022 to 2022.
And also-
That, sorry, I'm not yet done. That Colonel Mangena came and took or booked book out the item. Thereafter, booked it back, and then Kenneth Geninda came and booked it out. That I can tell you. I can give account to that.
Yeah, and also thank you, Colonel, for that concession. And also, you cannot deny if there was any, if this firearm was exchanged during that period, because you don't know.
Nokuthi yebo ke ngeke ukwazi ukuthi kwaba ne-exchange ebakhona. Indeed, so yes.
Colonel, if these exhibits, they come back from the forensic back to the station, do you take any pictures?
Lama exhibit maweza ke eza engaphakathi kwe-forensic bag. Ngabe uthatha ithombe?
Do you take any
No.
pictures before you keep them?
Andikuba ke
In the store?
uyowabeka kwi-store?
No.
No. No.
Okay. And now you say, after 5 years now, sitting with this firearm, 2 senior members of the SAPS approaches you.
Emva kwe-5 years uhleli nalesi sibhamu sekufika-ke iy'khulu khona laphana esiphoyiseni ziza kuwena.
Yebo kunjalo bafika impela.
Yes, indeed they came.
And what was your rank at that time?
Irenki yakho bethini ngaleso sikhathi?
Same ukuhlupheka warrant office.
A poor rank of the warrant officer.
And what was the rank of Mangena and Kininda?
Umangena noGininda ngaleso sikhathi
1-2 steps ahead, kennels.
they were colonels 1 or 2 steps ahead of me.
So you couldn't ask anything from them. You just complied with what they were saying.
Ubungeke ubabuze nanoma yini, ubufanele ukuthi nje uwenze ngendlela abakutshela ngakhona.
Basho ukuthi why beyidinga. Njengoba ngishilo ukuthi bayi-introduce ukuthi bawobani.
As I've already indicated, they introduced themselves as to who they were. They did give the reason as to why they need that.
Base besho ukuthi bafike lapha ngokuzofuna into so.
They then explained to me they came, or their reason of arrival there is they were looking for such and such an item.
And it is your evidence that you said, Colonel Kininda said, this firearm links with the case of phosphorus. Did I catch that one correct? What did you say?
Wathi uKolonel Gininda wathi
So that's why he's requesting it out.
sixhumene necase yase-Phosphorus isona sizathu asibhukha out leso sibhamu.
uKolonel Ginendi wathi uma efika kumina ethi ezothatha isibhamu wathi u-investigator i-case so yase-Phosphorus.
When he came to fetch the firearm or book out the firearm, Colonel Gininda, he said that he needs that firearm because he is actually investigating the case of Phosphorus.
And then wayethi uyayidinga-ke manje ukuthi leyo exhibit mayikhona ucela ukuthi ithathwe.
He then said that he needs that exhibit. If that exhibit is there, he requests that he be given that exhibit.
So at that time, it means Colonel Kininda knew that the firearm was linking to the phosphorus case.
I beg yours?
At that time, when Colonel Kininda approached you, he already knew that it was linking with the phosphorus case.
Ubekwazi ngaleso sikhathi.
Uzoziphendulela.
He will come and answer for himself.
You said also you did not ask him any further as to how, how you did not ask him the reasons why he's asking that firearm.
Uthi wena zange ngumbuze izathu ezenza ukuthi athi uyasidinga lesi sibhamu.
Cha useshilo phela ukuthi u-investigate yase-Phosphorus ucela le exhibit.
He's already said so.
Ngeke ngisambuza.
He's already said so that he needs the firearm. He's investigating the case of Phosphorus.
Okay.
I cannot ask him why he needs it because he's already provided the reason why.
Okay. If you say you have given the description of this firearm as CZ something, you remember that description that you gave?
Ukhumbula ukuthi uthe i-CZ bani lesi sibhamu.
Yebo ngiyakhumbula.
Yes,
So
I
it was
remember that.
CZ?
La emaphepheni ngombhalo la is a CZ75 caliber Luger.
Based on what is written here in these papers, this is the CZ75 caliber Luger.
Okay, and we have agreed that there are many firearms of this make.
Uyavuma lokho ukuthi ziningi ibhamu-ke zalolu hlobo.
Yebo aziningi.
Yes, there's many of them.
And in this one, its serial number was obliterated.
Lesi-ke i-serial number khona yayisuliwe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then how did you see that it was still the same firearm when you kept it
Manje
in the
masosibeka
storeroom?
usibeka lesi sibhamu ngale kwe-storeroom.
Yes.
Ubone kanjani ukuthi kusaseyisona lesi sibhamu?
Because
Phela-ke i-serial number ayisekho.
Yeah.
Njengoba ngishilo ukuthi sikwi-sealed forensic bag.
As I've already indicated, it is inside of the sealed forensic bag.
So mina ngithatha ibag nento ephakathi ngiyithege.
Now I take the bag.
Ngibeke la.
I take the bag and whatever it contains, and then take it or label it and then shelve it.
Okay. My Lord, can I ask that we take an early
No,
adjournment?
let's go through, please.
I need to wrap up my
You
questions.
can't
my lord.
go through.
Sorry, my lord.
You can't continue. We can adjourn at 1:30.
Right now, it's 5 my lord.
Yeah, let's continue. We
Yes.
started late today.
Yes, my lord. It's just that I need to wrap up my questions.
You want to consult?
Yes, my lord. That's why I'm asking
For how long?
for an early adjournment, my lord. Because because it's 5 now, my lord. If I was going to ask for five
No,
5
fine.
minutes
So are you saying we must come back at 2?
at 2, my lord.
Mr. Mloyi?
Yes, my lord.
Okay, 2 o'clock then.
All right.